Today on My Food Fix, I'll be making this Korean mixed rice dish, bibimbap. Here are the ingredients that I'm using. Since bibimbap is literally mixed rice, you can add any ingredients that you like, or feel free to exclude any here that you don't like. So first I'm going to soak these dried shiitake mushrooms. These need to be soaked for at least a couple hours or overnight. After they look plump like this, drain and squeeze out the excess water. Then remove the stalks and chop them up into thin strips. Add 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then stir to mix well. Then add a half a teaspoon of sesame oil, a pinch of salt, and stir to combine. Now to cook the mushrooms, toss them in an oiled pan on medium-high heat and stir them occasionally for about 5 minutes. Now let's prepare the seaweed. This type of seaweed comes heavily salted, so we need to wash all of this off before we start. In a bowl, rinse well and drain, then repeat this a couple times to make sure all of the salt is removed. Then submerge it in water once again and leave that for about 30 minutes. Then drain this water. To prepare the seaweed, take out a few strips and line them up. Then cut them up into 2-inch pieces. Now we want to mix in 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic, and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds. Then stir-fry the seaweed on medium heat for about 2 minutes. Next, I'm going to make my spicy zucchini side dish. Remove the stem from the zucchini and then cut it lengthwise. Then cut it up into half-moon slices. You can cut these as thinly as you like, but I prefer to leave them a little bit thicker so that they keep their shape. Coat the zucchini in 1 teaspoon of salt and leave that for about half an hour. This will help to extract the water. Here it is about half an hour later, and you can start to see it drying out. You can also see a little bit of the liquid pooling at the bottom of the bowl. Because we added quite a bit of salt to this earlier to extract the water, we now need to rinse it all off, or else it'll just taste really salty. So just rinse this a couple times and drain. Then squeeze them to remove all of the excess water, and you can even pat them dry with a paper towel. Now that they've been salted, they will have a crisp but flexible texture. To season the zucchini, we will add 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds, and 1 teaspoon of hot pepper powder. Toss to mix well. Then add about 1 teaspoon of sesame oil and stir that in too. Set it aside and let the zucchini absorb the flavors. Finally, to prepare the bean sprouts, we will need to blanch them in boiling water for about 1 minute. Then strain the water. Then, to season the bean sprouts, we will add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sesame oil, a pinch of garlic, and about half a teaspoon of toasted sesame seeds. You can add more if you like. And again, toss to mix. Adjust the seasoning to taste and set aside. And now we're done all of our side dishes. For the rice in the bibimbap, I prefer to use this short-grained sushi rice as it gives a more chewy texture. And now that we've cooked the rice in all of the side dishes, it's finally time to assemble! If you have a Dolsot stone bowl, you can put the rice in here to give it that crisp crust. Or you can just use a regular bowl as well. Here I'm brushing on a layer of sesame oil. Then put in as much steamed rice as you desire. Then slowly heat your stone bowls on the stove on low heat and then gradually increase to medium heat. This is so that the stone bowls won't crack. Now, if your stone bowls came with lids, use that, but since mine didn't, I just used a couple of plates to keep the rice steamy. Now all there's left to do is to put all of your ingredients on top. To make your bibimbap more visually appealing, it's better to plate ingredients with contrasting colors next to each other. So here we have the seaweed and the shiitake mushrooms, and some pickled carrots and daikon radish. You can see my video on how to make these pickled veggies by clicking on the link at the bottom right hand corner. Then plate the bean sprouts, our spicy zucchini, here I have some store-bought kimchi, a Korean spicy fermented cabbage, and some bulgogi beef. You can see my video on how to make this by clicking on the link at the bottom left-hand corner. Then add a dollop of bibimbap sauce to the middle. This stuff is spicy, so you can add as much as you want. You can also see a video on how to make this by clicking on the link at the top right-hand corner. And of course, we'll top it off with a sunny fried egg. And ta-da! Here it is, our bibimbap bowl. This dish takes quite a bit of patience and love to make, but I promise that it tastes as good as it looks. Remember to use some oven mitts to take the hot stone bowls off of your stove and serve it on a heat-proof dish or a wooden plank. And now to eat your bibimbap, all you have to do is mix it all up and then nosh it down. Doesn't that look delicious? Thanks for watching, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more recipes.